Hi, here's another section in waterjet cutting, and I'm going to talk about some of the parameters that you have to take into account when you're physically piercing and cutting the stone, and some of the differences you might want to look for when you have different types of stone. First of all, you'll find that the way that the waterjet cuts through different granites or marbles will vary substantially. In other words, if you have a black granite, and of course there's no such thing as black granite, it's a norite or dolomite typically. It's a much finer grained and tightly knit material, and it cannot be granite because it has very little quartz in it. And granite by definition has to have a certain amount of quartz. So when you start getting into some of your true granites where you can see your quartz and it meets the geological specification, quartz of course is very hard, and as a result it's very tough on your blades, and it'll wear out your blades quicker than something else. So you might find that a tightly grained material such as black granite, and I'm just throwing stuff out, I'm not a stone expert, I used to know a lot about it, but not so much. My focus is water jets now. But certainly, when we used to come through here with a blade, my experience was that we would have less wear and tear than when we came through a true granite with a lot of quartz in it, and as a result, we might get a lot more wear on the blade. That is not the case, and not necessarily true with waterjet cutting. Waterjet cutting hardly sees the quartz, so when the stream comes through, it might actually cut much faster and much easier, and it might see it as a softer material relative to a tightly grained material. You'll find that the tighter grained material will cut slower than a coarser grained quartz material, because we have two completely different things happening. So don't necessarily extrapolate everything that you understand and know that's true for what you do now with a saw blade and a diamond blade or whatever else you're using with a waterjet. The first thing you really want to do is you want to get your different stones. It's not a bad idea. Take your table, get some different slabs of granite, and put a little, maybe cut yourself little strips. There's a black granite, maybe you'll take African red, African Gibberana, get some kind of green, get a marble, get just a whole bunch of different materials, lay them side by side, set your waterjet up. To start over here, set a specific speed. Obviously make sure you've got the right power, maximum power setting. Typically you're always cutting with maximum power cutting. We'll come back and talk about piercing just now. And set that speed up, and I'll give you some numbers that you can write down while we're talking. And just run it at a constant speed across everything. That way, in a very short space of time, you're going to be able to go and write, okay, 10 inches a minute on each of these, pull them off, have a look at the edge, look at the surface, look if it chipped at the bottom, see what happened, and be able to say, right, there's all my results at 10 inches a minute. Come back here and maybe do a 5 inch a minute, and come back here maybe do a 20. I mean, have some kind of logic behind what you're doing, but land up getting an idea for how the waterjet is going to vary from one material to another, because it will vary, and will vary dramatically. So you want to do this for your 3/8 material. Maybe if you've got some tiles, put that down. You want to do it for your 3/4, and you should also do it for your 1 1/4. That would be the best advice I could give you in the first day or two that you have a waterjet. To stick it up and understand what it is, and get a feel and see what happened. You'll find some of them might cut really nicely through, and you might find some actually physically chip and get damaged at the bottom. And we'll try and talk about the effects of different stones and what you're looking for and when you see things happening. Okay. I'm talking from memory from many years ago, But just to give you a quick guide, okay, if I've got 3/8, 3/4, and 1 1/4, and you have marble and you have granite, okay, typically marble cuts at 50%, at double the speed. Granite cuts at half the speed of marble. Okay, so whatever speed you are cutting at marble, a rule of thumb, divided by half for granite. Okay, now I'm really talking on a broad scale when I try to give you speeds here, but they also vary dramatically, and speeds can vary by 100% easily. Okay, so I would say 3/8 or 1 1/4 inch granite, and I would typically split everything into black granite and of course true granite. Okay, your true granites, 1 1/4 inch, you might be able to get 5 to 8 inches a minute. A black granite, I wouldn't be surprised if you're somewhere between 3 and 6 inches a minute. 3/4, you're probably going to be in your granite somewhere between your 8 to 15 would be maybe a bit slower here, 8 to 15 there, and maybe 6 to whatever. I mean, these are difficult things to come up with off the top of my head right now. And then, of course, when you get to 3/8, you're going to be about double the speed. So you might well be doing this at 20 inches a minute, or even 25 to 30. So again, you've got to be able to go out, try it, but those would be numbers that I would just shoot for right out of the gate, and try to have a look, set them up, pick 5 inches a minute and see what happens, and lay your different stones out and get a feel for it. And go through these different stages, try your different thicknesses, and there's no reason why you can't do half granite and half marble and see the difference. All these speeds you could probably double when you're coming into the marble. So, and that's the end of the session. Thanks.